Welcome back. We'll start with the expected questions for space and space research. Now, before we start with this, I would like to let you know we have started our another channel, that is Exam Race Hindi. You can find it in the featured channels on the right hand side of the YouTube Exam Race page, and those from Hindi medium can definitely go ahead and work around that channel. You can subscribe to get more updates on that section. Now, coming back to space research, now we would be covering some of the most important discoveries and inventions done in the field of space research. The first one here is RLV-TD, that is Reusable Launch Vehicle Technology Demonstrator. Now this is India's first winged body aerospace vehicle that can operate at a hypersonic flight regime. It is aimed to decrease the space cost and space debris. So what it would do is it would launch the satellite into the orbit around the earth and then re-enter the atmosphere. The speed is Mach 5 and it was launched in 2016. The next is AstroSat. Now AstroSat is again very important. It's India's first multi-wavelength space observatory, which was launched in 2015. It includes 5 telescopes. The first one is the ultraviolet imaging telescope. It can observe visible, ultraviolet and far ultraviolet rays. The next is large area X-ray proportional counter that studies emission of X-rays from the various sources like X-ray binary, the galactic models and so on. The next is soft X-ray telescope. It talks about X-ray spectrum of 0.3 to 8 kilo electron volts. The next is cadmium zinc telluride imager. It functions in X-ray regime, senses the X-ray of high energy in 10 to 100 kilo electron volt range. The next is scanning sky monitor. This works around the long term monitoring of the bright X-ray resources. So this was launched, the launch vehicle was PSLV C30. So we will study more about PSLV in the next slide. What we are talking about here is it tries to understand the high energy processes like binary star systems, and these mainly focuses on the neutron stars and the black holes. It also estimates the magnetic field of the neutron stars and so on. So this is the model of AstroSat with the 5 major telescopes. Now all these 5 telescopes are important and you must be aware of those. The next is PSLV. As we said, PSLV, the polar satellite launch vehicle. There are few things you must be very clear about. First is the payload fairing system. That means at a given time it can place multiple payloads into the orbit. So this has multi-payload adapters which are used for the payload fairing system, and it allows up to 20 satellites at a single go. Then it has strap-on boosters. They are not used in the core along version. In all other variant versions they are used, and you have 6 solid rocket straps that are used in the first stage. Now you have stage 1, 2, 3 and 4. Stage 1 provides the launcher or the takeoff. Stage 2, known as PS2, it is powered by Vikas liquid engine. Stage 3 is the penultimate stage and uses solid rocket motor, and stage 4 it has 2 liquid engines. Now the PSLV C34, which launched the Cartosat series, it's a kind of Earth observation satellite which puts in the sun synchronous orbit, not the geosynchronous orbit, and provides various the remote sensing services. Now we have talked about the sun synchronous and geosynchronous in a separate lecture, so you can refer about that in more detail in that lecture. Now what were the satellites that were launched? The first is Satyabhamasat, that is the satellite of Satyabhama University in Chennai. The next is Swayam, that's the satellite of College of Engineering in Pune. The other satellites includes Lapan A3 from Indonesia, Biros from Germany, M3MSat from Canada, SkySat Gen 2-1 from US, then you have GHG SAT-D from Canada, and 12 Dove satellites from US. So all these names and to which country they belong are very important, especially for the prelims perspective. So this is a kind of configuration of the PSLV. Now this is the first stage which includes 6 S9 and S139 The second stage includes PL40, third stage has HPS3 and fourth stage has L2.5. So you have the diameter and the other characteristics of PSLV that are given. The next is IRNSS, that is the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. This launched the navigation with Indian constellation, the NAVIC system, which includes atomic clock, and each of these satellites has 3 clocks with a total of 27 clocks that have been launched. Sorry, this is an independent regional navigation satellite. It provides accurate information services. It mainly works around the standard positioning services for users and restricted services for which is a kind of encrypted services which is only made useful for the authorized personnel. Now where this IRNSS can be used, so you have terrestrial uses, disaster management, vehicle tracking. You can integrate it with mobile applications for precise timing, as we said in the case of atomic clock, and so on. So these are the various uses for IRNSS, and you have 7 satellites, 3 of which are geostationary and 4 of which are geosynchronous. You have 3 accurate rubidium atomic clocks. Now this is again important. The atomic clocks are made of rubidium. It covers up to 15,000 kilometers and the border areas of India. It provides standard positioning services that we have already talked about. So these are some of the highlights of this. The next is Sonar Dam. Sonar Dam, it has been manufactured by a Goa based composite manufacturing company. The name of the company is Kinico. Then it has been designed by the Research and the Development Establishment of DRDO lab in Pune. The technology uses vacuum assisted resin transfer modeling, VARTM, that's very important. And what is sonar? So sonar basically detects objects underwater by sending sound waves, and the sound waves get reflected. So that is sound navigation and ranging. So that's the full form for sonar. So what happens is the acoustic waves, the sound waves bounce back, and with the bouncing back you get to know. So it's used in onboard ships to understand the depth of the water bodies, to locate underwater objects like fishes, submarines, and so on. The next is PROVE, that is an indigenously developed remote operating vehicle. It helps to map the coral reefs in Andaman and Nicobar. Now Andaman and Nicobar is one of the hot spots of biodiversity in India. This has been developed by the National Institute of Ocean Technology, Goa. It can map around 4 to 6 square kilometer area per day. As we said, the stress from the sea surface temperature is increasing, and because of this the monitoring is very important, and this has been released. The next is Planet 9. Now usually what is an exoplanet? Exoplanet is a planet which lies outside the solar system. However, Planet 9 is important because Sun in its very youth stage stole or captured the Planet 9 from an original star, and this exoplanet is now inside the solar system. It's nearly 10 times bigger than Earth, 20 billion miles away, and has an orbit of 10,000 to 20,000 years. The next is a space-based telescope for actionable refinement of ephemeris, that is known as a STARE mission. Now here you talk about the collisions, you talk about preventing the satellite collisions in the low Earth orbit. Pathfinder mission is one of the missions to understand the constellations of satellite. So you have specific space traffic cameras which lower the false collision warnings and reduce the uncertainty of 1 kilometer to 100 in the given range. The next is Kirameki 2. It's the first military communication satellite which has onboard H-2A rocket, and it aims to upgrade the communication network and check the North Korea missile activities. The next is Stansat device by China. It monitors the carbon dioxide level. It has been launched on the Mars 2D rocket, and China is the third nation after Japan and USA to monitor the greenhouse gases. So that is mainly for the climate change, and it monitors every 16 days. The next is Falcon 9 rocket. It launches 10 satellites in a go. It is a part of McLean, Virginia based Iridium project that aims to replace all the existing network of satellites that provide the global voice and communication or data communication. It has been developed by a company, SpaceX. SpaceX is the first privately funded company to successfully launch the spacecraft Dragon in 2010, and since then it has been in use off and on. Now the exploration of Iron-rich asteroid 16 Psyche has been done. This has been approved by NASA, launched in 2023 and will come back in 2030. It says that these asteroids have a mineral content which are nearly 100,000 times more the value of the entire minerals that are found on the earth. The diameter is more than 125 miles and these are exclusively made of iron and nickel. It is a kind of protoplanet, that means it has a body which could become a future day planet, or it's a kind of core of the new planet that could evolve from it, and there are traces established that this body can have water as well. The next is Vela supercluster. It's the universe's biggest galaxy supercluster with nearly 1 lakh galaxies with trillions of stars. The next is PSLV C-37 has launched 103 satellites in a single go. The records have been in 2013 by NASA with 29 satellites, 2014 by Russia with 37 satellites, and 2016 ISRO tried with 20 satellites. Now this is a unique mission because since if you launch all the satellite all together, that won't be possible. So you have to separate the satellites with a relative velocity of 1 meter per second, and the first satellite is launched will move at a relative velocity which is faster than the next satellite. Now the next is GSLV Mark 3 D1. This is the heaviest rocket vehicle launched. This has 4 tons of satellite into the geosynchronous transfer orbit and 8 tons in the low earth orbit. It's considered a game changing vehicle with the payload was GSLV 19, which has Ka and Ku bands with the geostationary radiation spectrometer payload. Now what is unique about the GSLV Mark 3 is the cryogenic third stage, which is known as C25. It uses two things, the liquid oxygen at minus 193 degrees Celsius and liquid hydrogen at minus 253 degrees Celsius, both of which generate high specific impulse. Now these cryogenic vehicles have been previously used by Russia, US, France, China and Japan. There are 3 stages. The two solid motor straps on, which are S300. Then you have a liquid propellant core stage, which is L110, and finally the cryogenic stage, which is C25. The solid stage booster is the third largest solid booster in the world. The next is LHS 1140b. It is one of the habitable planets of that has been discovered. Now this lies in the Goldilocks zone. Now what is this Goldilocks zone? This is a habitable zone with moderate climate and temperature, not too hot, not too cold, and under this zone we believe whatever planets fall can have possibility of life. Now this planet is nearly 39 light years away. It lies in the super Earth category. It is 6 times the mass of Earth and 1.5 times larger. It was first sighted in 1995. In 2018, James Webb Space Telescope is proposed by NASA to succeed the Hubble, and it would detect the various planets and the atmosphere. Sorry. There are 52 potential habitable planets that have been discovered in the solar system, and nearly 3,600 which are outside the solar system, which lie as exoplanets. The next is Enceladus. Now this is the satellite's moon, which is the 6th largest. There are traces which say that it could be habitable. Again, Jupiter's 4th largest moon, Europa, is considered as habitable, but this Saturn's moon has much higher possibility of being habitable as considered to Europa. Now these findings were revealed by Cassini-Huygens, which is an unmanned spacecraft. Now this Cassini was sent in 1997 to study Saturn, and Huygens was sent to study the moons of Saturn. And along with this and Hubble telescope, you have come up with this conclusion. It has hydrogen which is found in water plumes, and it is a kind of small icy moon with presence of microbes and the process of methanogenesis that could be spotted there. Now in Jupiter you have a great spot which is considered as the second great spot after the Great Red Spot of 1830, and this has magnetic forces which are responsible for the polar auroras. The next is Kepler 1649, that is being discovered by the Kepler Space Telescope, and it's a kind of Venus-like planet with 1/5 the diameter of the Sun, nearly 219 light years away from Earth. What it does is, it brings insight into the nature of the planet that are encircling around the M dwarf stars, and this Kepler Space Telescope is again an unmanned space observatory launched by NASA in 2009. The next is Sentinel 2B. It is the fifth of the Sentinel Earth observation satellites. Now in 2015 Sentinel 2A was launched, and this 2B was supposed to join with 2A. It's a part of the multi-million Copernicus observation program, which is the world's largest single Earth observation program, and it is a successor. This program is the successor of the European ENVISAT program. The 7 new Earth-sized exoplanets have been discovered. We have already talked about what the exoplanets are. Of these 3 exoplanets, which are TRAPPIST-1, E, F and G, are considered habitable because they lie in the Goldilocks zone, and we have talked about the Goldilocks zone, which is a zone where you have a kind of moderate temperature that is present. The next is, you have found out a massive planet which is orbiting the X-ray binary star, and that is MBX 1658298, and that lies in the constellation of Ophiuchus, which is the serpent bearer. Now X-ray binaries are the pair of stars of which one is such compact that it is of a kind of black hole or a neutron star, and then in these X-ray binaries the time in between the eclipse of the source can increase, decrease or show any kind of rapid changes. However, the planet that has been discovered shows a kind of periodic increase and the decrease in the eclipse time. The next is mission to study neutron star that has been launched by NASA. The mission is known as NICER, that is Neutron Star Interior Composition Explorer. It would focus mainly on the pulsars, which are the remnants of the massive star, and this is the first time you have a demonstration of X-ray navigation system done in space. The next is Kelt 9b. It is considered as the hottest exoplanet which lies outside the solar system in the universe, has a temperature of 4236 degrees Celsius with nearly 650 light years away from the Earth. The next is CHAI. You have a recent development of the world's largest telescope that has begun, and this is mainly done by the European Southern Observatory, which is its headquarters in CHAI. It is 5 times larger than any existing telescope. It is also known as the extremely large telescope. The 300 meter, it would be placed nearly 300 meter high in the Atacama Desert, and its cost is supposed to be nearly 1 billion euro as in 2012. Now next is, on the Jupiter surface there are Earth-sized storms that are being detected by the NASA Juno spacecraft. Now this Juno is the first solar powered spacecraft which is orbiting Jupiter, and this is second after the Galileo. It has completed, this Juno has recently completed the fourth closest flyby of Jupiter. That means it has went through the Jupiter at the closest location. Jupiter is also known for the strong magnetic fields, because of which you have the changes that are seen there. Now China is planning to develop a moon-like surface on the Earth, and that project is known as Yuegong-1 or Lunar Palace. This is one of the most advanced closed-loop life supporting technology that is to be developed. This would be the third biogenerative life support base. In 2014, China tried the Moon Palace 1. That was a kind of self-contained laboratory to prepare astronauts for the outer space. This is again a mission in a similar way. The next is sounding rocket to release the radiant artificial clouds. Now this would release blue, green and red clouds by the various chemicals, that's barium, strontium and cupric oxide. It would help to study the ionosphere, study the winds and the Earth's magnetic field. The next is HAT P26b. Water traces have been found here. This was discovered by Hubble and Spitzer telescope. It's primarily made of hydrogen and helium, and this has a planet metallicity which is nearly 4.8 times that of the Sun. The next is Cassini spacecraft. As we already talked about Cassini, it was a mission to work around the Saturn, and the first one to enter the orbit of Saturn. It has a probe which is known as Huygens, and that is to study the moons of the Saturn. It would complete its journey of 20 years in 2017 September, and this was launched in 1997. And since this is a very close by date, this Cassini is very important for this examination. The next is Tiangong 2. This is a cargo spacecraft which was launched by the cargo spacecraft Tianzhou 1 with the space laboratory, that is Tiangong 2. It would permanently establish a manned space station in orbit for 10 years, which will be released by China, and this would come into play by 2022. It would carry nearly 6 tons of goods, 2 tons of fuels, and remain unmanned for 3 months. The next is Parker Solar Probe. This is very important. This is the first mission of NASA to study the solar winds and to study the Sun and its outer atmosphere. Since it would be going so close to the Sun, not the Earth, sorry, Sun. Since it's a solar probe, it is made up of advanced carbon composite material that allows the instrument within the probe to operate at room temperature despite of the high temperature outside. So this is very unique. Now again, this is very important because it's the first time it has been named after a living person. The person is Eugene Parker, who gave the concept of the idea of solar winds in 1958, and he is an astrophysicist. So this study will be launched in 2018. The next is Aditya L1. That is the India's first solar mission. It would study the outermost sun layers, that is the photosphere, chromosphere and corona. It's a joint venture of ISRO and the various physicists from other institutes of India. So what would be placed would be in the halo orbit around the L1 point, and this L1 lies on the direct line between the Sun and the Earth. It would collect the data on the coronal mass ejection and the space weather predictions, and is planned to be launched by PSLV in 2019-20. So with this we cover the major highlights for space contemporary topics. We will be covering 2 other expected questions, one on the government policies and programs and another on the various facts of economics as requested by most of you. Stay tuned for more updates before your upcoming prelims. Have a good day ahead.